And now I have to thank Lizard for keeping the outro to his stream going for that long, because all that was music from that. And it took apparently over a full minute for my goddamn music player to start up, which I realized I hadn't opened yet. But now it should all be good. So yeah, it worked out pretty well, I would think. As it sometimes does, even though it's not guaranteed. Also, I am now minimizing stuff by accident, because, as usual, I'm not doing a good job of paying attention to what I'm doing. But on that note, what we have tonight is something that is kind of a continuation to something we saw last week. Not as the main feature, I guess, but still managed to get through it pretty well. And I believe I will be starting this thing up now. Yes, here we go. And it's one of those weird instances where I have to use this program I have called the 3D Windower to actually be able to play it in a window, because it has no support for windowed mode in any any other scenario. But it's a Sega game, as you can tell. You know what other game we played recently that was produced by Sega as well? Well, we're about to find out together, I suspect. Also, it only, hello, there we go. Only is unfrozen when I actually have the window focused for some reason. But also, if you were around last week, you might remember this. The events of this game that I did. With these two heroes, even though we only saw one of them. Because I didn't realize that you could play solo even if you pick player 2. And yes, this is all true. Suddenly took injuries and sapped zombies when all this happened, and there was also the magician at the end. That was quite the battle, as you might recall. And he did see that we haven't seen anything yet, so I'm inclined to believe, because it doesn't exactly end where the story ended. How they resolved the incident? Well, apparently not, because Liam Neeson was just left lying there, and this guy shows up. No, it's alright, listen, man. Like I said, the music that you had for the outro of your stream actually served as part of the intro for mine, since my music player took a while to start up. But anyway, in the remote future of 2000, this happened apparently, as we all remember. And these bizarre people with Sega Dreamcasts strapped to their back and keyboards in front of them showed up to apparently resolve it. Since, you know, this actually did come out for the Sega Dreamcast, which had a keyboard peripheral for it. Nope. Yeah, we'll remember when the world ended in 2012, when, remember when Dracula came back to life in 1999 and a bunch of people had to get together to destroy him, but then he came back anyway. But yeah, the methods through which this game is going to work are a bit different from before. Whereas the first game was a rail shooter, this is indeed a typing game. So let's dive right into it. I think arcade mode is the one I want. Yes it is. I think it will enter your run out of lives. Even though I'm fairly certain then that you get quite the number of continues in this mode, but yes. There's 6 chapters and the difficulty is ramped up as you play through them in order.
We're meeting G over there. What?
As you might be able to tell, the voice acting is as stellar as ever. The best voice actor in this is by far Goldman though, but... But yeah, that's pretty much all you do here. Type stuff and kill things. Also, if you get perfect words,
how could anyone do this?
they slowly build up in the top left, as you can see, and if you get a full chain of that, you get an extra life. So that's pretty handy to know. There's G.
James, I tried. Don't underestimate the enemy. James, take this.
Well, at least we got a little booklet from G there.
Harry and Amy are coming to back us up. Hurry, go!
Also, there's a few differences between this and, you know, the light gun version. Like in the original arcade version, I'm pretty sure you could actually save that guy, but not here.
My God.
And there's a bunch of background stuff that you can't destroy. But this all makes up for it, I think you'll agree.
Thanks. You can get outside that way.
And yeah, the selection of stuff you have to type is pretty great as well. Well, you can save that guy, but I was too slow in the uptake there. The words, well, they're affected by a few things. I think you'll see what I mean in a second here. Netscape, that was pretty great. Like, when we get to the dictionary, we get similar words, as I'm sure you're about to see. Like acronyms there, that actually made it quite a bit easier than would have usually been. But yeah, you gotta have a pretty good speed and reaction time to be able to save some of these people that show up, like the person coming up here. Oh, we became a zombie. You'll see what that zombie suit did in just a moment. Also, I'm getting a bit disoriented, but yeah. For actually saving that person, we get an extra life for once. And here comes the boss already. That was not a question. But here's the first boss, Judgment. Can you guess what you're supposed to do? Well, in this context you just type, but yeah, the deal is you gotta hit the little guy and not the big guy, since he doesn't actually have any weak points or anything. Well, it gets better. Oops. Well, it's a bit more awkward playing this right now than it usually would be, since I have the microphone between my head and the keyboard. So, yeah, setup's not like I usually have it, but still managing. Still gonna be pretty grateful that you have unlimited continues. In this mode though, if I recall. Hello? Barely got that. I'll wait until we get to boss 4. I think that has some of the best selections in this game. Oh yeah, that's what the zombie suit did, by the way.
Harry!
Thank God you arrived.
What the hell's going on in this city?
Don't know, but it's very similar to the 1998 Tyrion case.
That case?
James, go and prevent the confusion in the city.
I don't think that's
Okay,
possible, but
Let's meet at
okay.
Sunset Bridge. We're counting on you, James.
No more fooling around.
So let's see how well we did. I don't think we did that great, but... Now we got, out of the previous 100 players somehow, we got number 10. But apparently that's still enough for a life bonus. So why not? There's my name. So let's continue right along in Chapter 2.
Dogs of the AMS. Time they made a move.
This guy, I don't know what his accent is supposed to be, but he really shines later on.
Need to hurry. What?
Thank you for rescuing me.
No problem. Let's see. We're supposed to be in Venice, in case that hasn't been stated yet, by the way. Oh boy. Apparently all zombies in 30 seconds. Well, I managed, I guess. And you're gonna survive for that.
Help me! Help me! Thank you for rescuing me.
Trending Tumblr topics and well, I wouldn't doubt that people are capable of making that. But it generally trips me up when they include punctuation and or numbers. There's already 3 games in this series, by the way, and we'll be looking at all of them during this weekend. And that's the point where you can split up the routes. If you don't pick up that key, you go down a different route. Didn't realize I had to get that barrel first.
My dad's still inside.
Don't worry. I'll get him out.
I usually have trouble with
My
that,
son.
because you have to be
He's
pretty quick.
waiting outside.
We're flying right over the Sunset Bridge. Something or someone has taken.
I
Need
think
to hurry.
the route also splits here, depending on whether or not you save that guy.
What are they?
What are they indeed? goodness. Kneel there while... I know, right? All those zombies running around. So thoughtless. Hello? Also, I haven't really noticed, but apparently there's some recurring zombie types, like aesthetically. Throughout some of these games, you'll see what I mean. When I get to the other game that I have.
Thanks. Sunset Bridge is just ahead.
I kind of noticed, but not to that extent. Also, it kind of sucks that we can't get more than 5 lives in this. And again, we don't really need them that much as we do in, or at least as much as I do in the second game of this.
How could anyone do this?
Also in this game though, the what's it called?
Amy, Harry, the chaos of the city's increasing.
Well, it's about that. It seems like Goldman.
Wait, we'll talk later.
The combo bar for perfect words takes longer to fill up, but you don't need that much. There is another game which uses that, where you do need it quite a lot. But here's a Hierophant, the second boss, and you can only type when his chest is open. That's the gimmick for this one. God. Hello? But that's only the first part of this fight. So now you got to type quickly before falls on you, as he will jump. And yeah, these early bosses are pretty simple, but there's a reason for that. Yeah, not quite over yet, though. This time you have even less time to hit him, but the words are also quite short. And there we go. That guy should be dead. As indeed he is. Just gonna hang out on the water there.
Don't care who it is, no one's gonna get away with this.
I have no idea how he knew there was a boat there, but alright. Let's see how it is this time. Apparently we... holy shit. Made it number 1 out of previous 100 players. So why not, we'll save that. And move on to chapter 3 for intermediates.
It's been a while, hasn't it? My friends from the AMS. It's me, Goldman.
He sounds quite energetic. Say what? If you say so.
We have to stop him. James, back me up. Okay.
Alright. And now. What are some of these? Because why not? blazing heck, of course.
Are you all right, James?
Yeah, I'm hanging on.
You know, these games have that problem sometimes. You know, the volume. Being seriously outmatched by the sound effects of the voices. That
Help
is
me! Thanks for saving me.
no problem. And I somehow didn't get hit by that guy. I question how that happened. Since guy was already in the striking animation.
Thanks for saving me.
No problem. Pretty sure there was another guy who had that exact same voice, you know, wink wink.
Yes.
It's like they were using sound effects or something.
Left a message for us.
Who would ever do that?
Goldman?
Well, he says that he'll be waiting at the Colosseum on the north side of the city.
Coliseum? Might be a trap. Let's go on.
Can't really hear that well over the this bizarre beat that I'm hearing, but so let's do another mission. There we go. Not that much of a reward though, but alright. Oops. And that time I did get hit, I think. But immediately got the extra life back.
Over there! Ah! Don't come!
Let's hurry.
Oh man. I remember when I cared about current events, kind of. Very vaguely so.
James, you go from the underground passage.
But now I just stay on the internet most of the time.
Okay.
I'll call you when something happens. Don't kill me!
Oh boy. Barely seeing that guy, I think.
My friends went inside, but they're not back yet.
Well, I'm sure they're
Not
alright.
gold.
Let's take a look then. It looks fine, alright. And now it's time for this thing, the tower. And this spot is a little bit unique because of what you have to do in this first part. You need to type the correct answer to these questions. What can't you buy this? Well, depends on what store, but I guess plutonium is what they expect you to do. Can't you do alone? Well, maybe if you call certain things John, but... I'm sorry, I kind of missed the question. I was too busy trying to come up with something to say about the last one. Also, I'm trying to get a tree. I don't know if a kid all by himself would make a tree into a fort, but getting well, you don't know if zombies breathe air, I don't think. Depending on what mythos you're going off of. Maybe if you buy some performance enhancing I don't know.
I'll get you.
But now you just gotta be quick for this part. Oh wait, Pimble of the Dead, I remember that as well. Can't usually get that, I don't think, because it just goes by too quickly, but once to get it last time, I suppose. And there we go. Also, I was trying to stuff lotions into my mouth, so Probably another reason why I missed a bunch of the questions on the first phase.
James, come quickly! Something terrible is
Oh goodness.
Amy? What happened, Amy?
I'm going to yell into this phone that I threw on the floor, apparently. I still managed to get first somehow, though, so sure, I'll take that. Now for Chapter 4, also for intermediates. It's already half done with this game.
Everything's set. All we need to do is wait.
What happened
And-
to Amy and Harry?
We're going to see
Have to hurry.
more of Goldman's greatness at the end of this chapter. But this is where they start ramping up the difficulty with the long words and such.
Don't kill me!
I ran from the Colosseum. Thanks for saving me.
Is there a Colosseum in Venice, or is Japan just very confused? Well, time for another mission, alright?
Success!
There we go. Gotta have my serious time, I guess.
Help me!
It's alright, there we go.
Thank you.
I recall that guy's actually pretty tricky to save as well. And if you don't save him, you have to go down that route instead. Staying up here. Don't know what's going on with the sound in this spot. I just took it up. To what we're shooting at here. Don't know how I feel about the phrase strawberry souffle, but alright. Yeah, the problem with those characters is that I can never tell the difference between 0 and 0 in these games. But I think we made it to the boss already. Yep. You know, the Colosseum in Venice, as we know.
People of the AMS, I am Goldman. I don't care if you people try to get in my way or not. In time you'll find out who's right. This is a present from me to you. Look at your left.
Anyway.
Harry!
Well, friends, I look forward to meeting you people again.
Time to fight Strength, the fourth boss, I think. Yep, here we go. And this one is particularly good since we have to type long associated phrases. Well, most of the time ago. So it has a limerick there, apparently. Hello? Ha ha ha. Get it because zombies lose limbs all the time.
Amy, Harry,
Okay, that was
you
that
all
boss.
right?
I'm alright. But Harry's...
No! James.
The car's
Just gotta
parked in
catch
the
that
city
key, alright.
square. The top floor. Building at point A, 0063. He's there. Go, James.
Thanks, Harry.
Well, I'm just gonna leave you there then.
Goldman,
Thanks
I'm
for all
not
the
gonna
help.
let you get away with this.
Did we get number 1 again? I don't know how we're getting first place all of a sudden, but I guess we are. What? No. This is never what. Now time for the penultimate chapter for Typing Masters, and well, let's see if we are typing master or
Our
not.
Emperor shall awaken soon. Hurry, friends.
Point A, 0063 is just ahead.
Now we got Giles zombies apparently. And this isn't the last time we'll be seeing them either. Also, these zombies that after a while, after you kill them, they pop those things out of the chest. So it's just extra busy work for you. Something that I do like about this game is how if you're getting attacked and you manage to shoot off the body part that the enemy is going to use to attack you, you don't get hit. Comes in quite handy. Hey, Glaive.
This must be the car.
It's like this game knows.
Let's hurry.
But we're about to see why, for some of the early enemies at the end of the stage were that simple to fight. As these guys are back.
You!
Or does anyone really? The doctor certainly doesn't. Well, I'm sure Andrew Zimmerman would make something like that. I wonder why that is. Like, I'm basically reacting to some of the phrases in the game, so I don't even know if, I'm not even sure if the chat knows what I'm referencing when I speak some of the time. Oh, got hit in that though. Well, just one more to go, and let's see if we can get through this whole chapter without getting a having to use a continue, though I doubt it.
Remember, there's no such thing as a second chance.
Cause we gotta refight that guy and continue on. And of course fight more zombies on the way. Also that guy a bit of a prelude for what's to come in the next and final stage, but in the meantime another boss to refight. Hello? Oh, Thrash. I thought that was like trash, but I don't know. I don't know how that would work. What would guitar trash be? Oh, barely got that. Somehow. Oh, that guy should be done now. This last phase is not come again because I sacrifice complexity when
Bad. You're better off that way.
when he reappears. You know the way this voice acting goes is like every time this guy finishes saying a taunt, he like emotes. Like if someone were to type the greater than :T face, and that's in his voice.
Let's go.
Although I think it might be time for the actual boss of the stage. Right after a couple more guys, if I recall.
Prepare yourself, Goldman.
Yeah, like that. Well, it's time for the actual boss now, I think.
So this is Goldman's headquarters. What? Can't be. You're...
Yep, this guy's back.
I've been waiting for this time to come. You have no future. Either I get you, or the Emperor will. Either way, your fate is in our hands.
That's a boast. Okay, now time to refight the magician. And yeah, we need to type the word perfectly. And if we make a mistake, we get hit, so this is actually pretty tough. Like that. I don't know what I typed wrong there, but sure I have to use a continue now. Pretty sure I typed the quotes correctly though. Unless my keyboard layout somehow shifted for no reason, even though this is like one of the few games that is clearly meant for a US keyboard layout that still works with my Latin American keyboard layout, so I don't know what could have gone wrong there. And for the second part you can make mistakes, so it's not as bad. But you still have to be pretty quick, as you see there. See, I got the codes on that one, so I don't know what happened with the other one. Pretty sure the ooh there was a reference to the Doctor Who theme, by the way. That's usually the onomatopoeia that they use for it. Woot! I don't know why I did that. Right. Look, I need my serious time to be able to type this. Hello? Okay, somehow managed that. But this guy takes a while. If I recall, some people consider this guy the actual hardest boss in the game, harder than the actual final boss. But he's done. And this time apparently with no quip after he dies.
Only man himself can control its fate. You're nothing.
Right. And what rank did we get this time? Okay, we didn't get number 1 this time. That makes sense. We get number 3 though, somehow. So time for the final chapter for typing prodigies, and indeed.
At last, you've come. Friends, the door of fate shall open.
Yeah, just the regular enemies in this stage are something else, but we're about to witness this. Also, they're more like cyborgs than anything else, as you can see.
It's like they're inviting me in.
Guess they abandoned the zombie archetype for this area. Also, these word choices. I wondered at myself too, don't worry.
No turning back now. Well, this might actually be more difficult than it seems, since... Yeah, the phrases in this are... more complicated than before, as we've seen. So I wasn't really expecting to get that, but I believe it's almost time for another callback. That's your defiling, Mr. Zombie Guy. Callback to What
Overwatch.
is this place?
Well, we have the zombie cloning chamber, I guess, and this guy's back. What can't you buy this? Well, what? I guess that depends on what you're willing to consider a store. Ticket replicate as well, but kind of everyone has to do that. But if it's Vladimir, I don't know. again, I could argue that a lot of these are rebuttable. But I guess it doesn't matter anymore since these snakes are dead. And we can continue on. Speaking of milk, I have an empty box of pops quite near to me that I finished earlier today. I guess I have to make do with that since I don't have any better options at the moment. And by better options, I mean French toast crunch, which seems apparently that is not exported from the far north. Well, I somehow managed to survive that, so alright. Pretty sure I can't even use items in this mode though, so not that it matters anyway since we're to the final boss now. Time for some stellar voice acting again.
I've been waiting for you, friends.
Goldman! Do you know what you're doing?
I'm fully aware of what I'm doing. Can't you see? Man committed a sin, disturbing the life cycle of nature. The original sin that man is responsible to protect the life cycle. I have made a creature to rule over mankind. This is the final battle. Show yourself, our new ruler, the Emperor.
And this guy as well.
I am the one who rules over nature. I shall destroy and hate mankind.
In that order.
I am the Emperor.
Well, now it's time to find the Emperor. Who's apparently Type Alpha and weak point unknown, whatever shall we do? Yeah, you gotta be quick when he throws several things at you. Well, right now you do, when you got that giant sword on your hand. So I think that's actually easier to counter than that attack, for instance. Oh well. So hopefully be able to kill this guy even though I have like have 2 continues left. Assuming that this does limit my number of continues. So it shouldn't be that much of a problem. I managed to counter that attack for once. But not that one. Well, got 1 continue left. But I don't think there'll be a problem as I can see. well, that's a bit of an odd phrase to make me type all of a sudden. I think the tower phantom is more manageable here. Speaking of food. Well, too late. Yeah, you really can't mess up when he does this. But fortunately it's not that complicated. And it might soon be time. Oh boy, I think it's time for the... This actually determines what ending you get, based on how weird the answers you give are. So let's see what we got.
I am.
So that's a fancier explosion than the other guy, I think. But now... So watch
Coleman.
the skybox scroll past.
Friends, it is not over yet.
Is that all you have to say?
In time, a successor will come. Farewell, friends.
Yeah, this also is a little different from the regular typing or House of the Dead 2 ending. As you might have witnessed there. Yep. And now you get to type the credits. A successor will come. It's not successor, it's successor, get it right. But let's see if we can get all the zombies dancing here. It's just a matter of typing everything. But even if we do get everything here, alright. The experience is far from over. Also the as someone who does not usually have to use Japanese words in their everyday life, what comes after this, well, was a bit complicated. But you might be starting to see that in these credits. And you'll see what you mean, what I mean in a minute when this ends. But now there's only one zombie left, and there it is. I think that's pretty much it for the credits as well. Pretty sure this is all we see now, but yep, end. I think we get a password for clearing the story mode. BBC the TVC. Let's see what we can do with special password, as it says. But let's look at this. Enter my name, why not? Age 0. Job. Damn it, you can't type very quickly this, but sure, I think that reflects me accurately. But apparently I actually finished this before and somehow managed to rank above my previous attempt. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, if we can get past the titles and back to the actual selection thing. Let's see what that password we just unlocked does. You can play versus CPU mode. That's great. But I don't think I will be doing that. I think we've pretty much seen the gist of the game by now. There's a few other modes, like fighting just the bosses, including the staff roll. You can practice, since you know this is actually supposed to help you type better. You can learn how to type, apparently. If you don't know anything about typing, this is the game for you, clearly. And you can play this in multiplayer, but only locally, I'm pretty sure, so unfortunately that's... Well, who knows, we might be able to simulate this somehow, if we really wanted to, but no, also there's no option to exit, so we pretty much have to close the window to be able to do that. Which I just did, but as I said before, the experience is far from over. Because there were 3 games in the Typing of the Dead series. There was this one, there was one that's actually on sale, well, being sold on Steam, called Typing of the Dead Overkill, which is an adaptation of and also includes House of the Dead Overkill, which was kind of a guiding game for the Wii initially released. But there was also one called Typing of the Dead 2, which was an adaptation of House of the Dead 3. But the thing about that one is that it was only released in Japan, and there weren't any international, or at least official international versions of it made. So if you were to find it, you would have to change your regional settings for your computer to Japan for non-Unicode programs, and you would have to play it in Japanese pretty much and type Romaji all the time with words that you don't know or understand most of the time, unless you actually know Japanese, which I do not. And you would also have to restart your computer and set the settings back to English to be able to play the other one that I just played, Typing of the Dead 1, because that one actually does have an English functionality, so in order to show it off for a stream, say, for instance, just an example here, you would have to record it beforehand and make a video file for it, so here we go. Time for an adventure in Japanland. Also, I'm pretty sure there's like no footage of this game anywhere else on the internet, so this is a super exclusive thing, totally. I think there's like one video of this on YouTube that I found. Also, long load times, those are a thing in this. I think I'm gonna speed this up slightly since it's just a tutorial pretty much. Also, something else about this game is that since it's kind of built for Japanese computers pretty much, if you play it on a filthy Western system, you'll get to experience quite a fair bit of lag while you're doing it. But yeah, I can't read like 96% of that. But why not? Might as well record the tutorial thing they have at the beginning for the sake of thoroughness. I think it's time for the actual game now. Actually, wait. we go. But yeah, the long load times are real. I don't know who those 15 people are. I only count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people in the viewer list, myself included. Also, you need to make a profile in this, which is pretty much impossible unless you know that it only accepts like hiragana input, pretty much. And if you don't make a profile, you can't save. Which doesn't matter anyway, because even if you finish the game, as I learned the hard way, you can only... there's 5 chapters, but you can only continue from the beginning of chapter 4 if you die in the final chapter. And if you beat the game, you cannot start from chapter 5. Well, while the text is in Japanese, the dubbing luckily is in English. So we still get to experience the glory of that. Eventually we do, at least. So let me see. Yeah, the load times continue. I'm just gonna go ahead and speed this up until something decides to show up. Try to calculate how long it takes for a load time to end on average. Well, the text disappeared, so I'm kind of forced to believe that. And now I kind of wish I had Mike's My Marie theme. Oh, hey, the text is back. I guess it wasn't done after all. Should probably download My Marie at some point. Because it would be pretty appropriate for, oh, here we go. Pauses like that. "20 years after the tragedy at the Curian residence." We get a little prequel to the main plot here. With this wonderful frame rate.
Let's do it. Yes, sir.
And yeah, you can see the type of words that you have to type throughout this whole experience. Oh, it gets a lot worse very quickly, don't worry. Yep, the keyboard guns as well.
Are we the only ones left?
There's Rogan, one of the epic heroes of the first game.
We can't forget our mission.
And the legendary Agent G will also make an appearance as a playable character. Still powered by the Dreamcast. Oh, yeah, then you have to type phrases like this, so... You know... It's no sweat or anything.
We can't let everyone's death be in vain. Hurry!
I'm pretty sure the keys for cancelling out of a word if you want to correct or just abandon it are different. Boy. Yeah, for some reason when you're trying to record this with OBS, oh god. Yeah, these swamp zombies are back, I guess. When you're trying to record this with OBS, the recording actually comes out laggier than the actual game, because you need like to have those processes running simultaneously. So there's also that jolly thing to deal with.
How many of these things are there?
But yeah, that's the chapter 0 that this game has. Not really much to say about that. Also, yeah, this game apparently tracks your progress that
We found it.
you make when you type as you replay the levels. But it's time for one of the epic subplots of this to develop.
You're...
And now time for loading again. Here we go. Yeah, this thing kind of streamlines progress between the chapters at least. But then it takes all the time to load in between them. There we go.
My dear Daniel, I'll never give up. No matter what the doctors say, I'll gladly step into forbidden territory if it will save your life.
Also a flashback to apparently the Mad Doctor's life from the first game. Whoops, I'm knocking stuff over because as always I am failing to pay attention. There. And now for the actual heroes of the game.
Since it's lost contact with Rogan. We can't wait any longer. You ready, Lisa?
There's G. Now with grey hair.
I promised Mom that I'd bring him home. Let's go, G.
And they still got their keyboard guns. Yeah, this game's a bit more, bit less obtuse as to how it lets you choose routes. You just get a choice like this. And now time for the real challenge. Which is not getting distracted by the lag, I guess. But yeah, in this game, at least if you're as ignorant of... as unable to quickly process Japanese Romaji words in your mind as I am, you really need the extra lives, which is why the combo bar on the upper left fills up a lot faster than in Tapping of the Dead One. But yeah, unlike Typing of the Dead One, this game does have force you to use the US keyboard layout. Which means that the question mark is down where the hyphen usually is for me, and what else? Well, the button for the equal sign is apparently just left of the backspace key, which is not where it is in my keyboard. It's actually 2 keys further to the left, and you gotta press shift while pressing 0. That's how you type the equal sign. Also, the yen symbol that you gotta press to kill this bird is apparently where the close curly bracket keys in my keyboard.
What?
Also, the first boss of this,
Security guard?
the security guard, aka Death. Pretty persistent guy. And this is where you start getting longer phrases, which can trip you up. But you get the longest phrases of all when you have to fight groups of zombies simultaneously. You just get one long phrase for a bunch of them. And if you take too long to type it, it splits up into the ones you didn't get in time.
Hey, we're just passing through.
Also, you know, I would say that not being like, for example, what are you gonna do when someone suddenly shoves this in your face? But I wouldn't say that adapting to this bizarre style of typing was what made it what made this game difficult for me, but just the fact that when you're fighting the final boss, you have to do this, and you have to do this very quickly. And it's pretty unforgiving, so it took me like 10 tries to get through the game, the whole game, and beat the final boss.
Whoa, calm down there.
In fact, this is attempt number 9, if I recall, so I'm not going to beat the final boss at the end of this.
We can't go this way.
But thankfully pretty much all of the bosses except for that one are simple enough. Except for one, which we will get to. The third boss. Because of a mechanic it shares with the third boss in Typing of the Dead 1, which pretty much makes it impossible to correctly determine what the correct choice is.
You alright, Lisa?
Yeah, just a little shaken up. Was my father always involved in missions like this?
Yeah. Who knows how many times your father and I survived by the skin of our teeth. What do you think your father did for a living?
Well, no, I'm not playing this right now, but this is a recording of me playing it from earlier. Just so you know. Gotta adapt to all the moon runes, so don't worry. The proof that it was a filthy westerner playing it will come at the end of this particular file. And I'll have to switch to another one to actually show the ending. Also, it's back to the loading time. Gotta speed this up again. You know, I would have liked to play this like live on stream, if not for two things. One being that I would have to restart the computer to set it to another regional configuration to get it to work properly, and two, that the final boss is difficult as hell, and I'm impressed that even I beat him. Well, at least it's difficult as hell for a filthy foreigner like me that can't process Japanese words as quickly as a native could. Also, wow, these loading screens, they are legendary.
Look, Daniel.
There we go.
It's the key. This will remove the barrier between life and death. You don't need to fear anything anymore, Daniel. Not even death.
Well, the voice acting isn't as spectacular as in the other games, but it's kind of made up for by the fact that the character models don't have moving mouths, I don't think.
G, what happened to the world?
The 1998 Curian Mansion case happened, I suppose. That project was a threat to humanity itself. Your father and I put a stop to it, though.
Or did they? Yep, medianoche means midnight. Yeah, one of the reasons why it's not a good idea to play this with the incorrect original configuration is that for the single character, I guess, prompt, it doesn't even display the proper symbol like it does here. So it's pretty much a completely blind guess as to what you're supposed to press. And I don't even think the Japanese characters, like the kanji there, show up properly. It's just bizarre Unicode jumble, or not Unicode jumble. If it was Unicode, this wouldn't be a problem, but it is.
I can't believe I'm doing this.
Oh, I can't believe it either, don't you worry.
Lisa, back me up!
Also, yeah, the point of these little sections where the other character tells you to save them. pretty much means if you do save them in time from getting hit, you get an extra life, and if not, you don't. But like I said, you need every extra life you can get in this game, if you're a filthy foreigner like me. Also Guile zombies, who actually look more like Guile this time. And those guys who are annoying as hell, since if you don't kill them with lightning fast precision, you pretty much can't kill them without getting hit. GGG, I wonder what that's supposed to mean. Well, I somehow managed to get through it, even if I don't understand what any of it says textually.
Damn, lost time there. Let's hurry.
Yeah, better get good at lightning fast Romaji typing. Oh god. Also, when I accidentally used one of those power-ups, I actually had no idea what the clock did, but apparently it slows down stuff, which... well, you pretty much have to use up all of your power-ups if you're like me and you can't get through the last levels without doing so. Yeah, I generally agree with that, Lizardman. I'm a lot more of a savory person than I am a sweet one. I'm a huge fan of sodium, pretty much. In fact, I have a small bottle of... oh god, wait.
Smell. Oh man!
What is this place? Some sort of feeding ground?
Well, time for another boss. Oh god, that cake.
Trapped. Coming, Lisa. Get ready.
And this guy. Who was a nightmare to fight in the arcade versions, because you can't actually block his first attack unless you have like perfect circumstances when the fight begins, and you're extremely precise, but paradoxically enough, it's actually easier in this version. What I was saying is that I actually have an almost empty now little bottle of I don't know how I would translate this. Sugar that has been salted, made spicy and acidified. It's basically sweet chili powder in a bottle, and I pretty much eat it, sprinkle a little bit of that on my tongue sometimes when I feel bored, I guess. And I want to feel something in my mouth. And I have absolutely nothing else, like even water, which I don't even have right now. I should probably get some of that soon. But unfortunately, this is also one of the bosses that requires you to be fairly precise and quick, since it's not that evident right now, but when he throws the corpses down on you and during the final hit, you need to be really quick. As I'm sure we'll learn, since I'm pretty sure I got hit once before I could kill him when that part was up. During this run. And you also gotta type this pretty quickly. I can't remember if I got hit by one of these things. I probably did. Nope, never mind. Yep, you sure are. Oh, never mind. I actually got this one first try. I guess I must have gotten hit in the 10th run I did, which is when I actually finished the game. I don't think you'll want to try to taunt like that with a derpy face.
So, you and my father stopped Kyrion's plans, right?
Maybe someone's trying to continue his legacy.
Also, the icons of the items freeze there for no reason. I guess I'm gonna have to speed this up as well. Like I do every loading screen. Guess it's the only way to get through this without just sitting here for like 2 minutes, I guess. With complete silence and black screen. Hello? Hello? Jesus Christ, these loading times. Actually, I remember when I was recording this, I actually took a timeout during one of these loading screens, so I could close Skype and see if that made it run faster, but but the thing is, when you have the window unfocused, it pauses, so it made the loading screen even longer. Oh, here we go.
Have I stepped outside the bounds of human morality? Most of my researchers have left me.
Well, that sure makes me slap my knee, huh? Being branded as a criminal against humanity.
You getting along with Rogan?
I don't know. My father always put work ahead of his family. I barely have any memories of him spending time with Mom and me.
Ouch. That's pretty harsh.
Well, what do you expect? He's always making us worry. I should slap him upside the head for Mom.
Well, just like that, that's the perfect transition to killing zombies with keyboard guns. And yeah, you might notice that there's gonna be a lot more of these swamp zombies in this stage. Oh god. Also more lag, apparently. And lots of single character targets for once.
Watch out for the tentacles!
And tentacles. And once again I am reminded. And I am left wondering what would happen if DSP had to play Typing of the Dead 2 for his stream. Or for his channel. If that was like the only way he could stay out of bankruptcy, what would he do? All these Japanese words. I would try to do an imitation of the Phil voice, but I think that would be too loud and obnoxious, and I'm pretty sure there's people nearby, so... So probably not a good idea right now. Well, at least I can kind of, hang on, correlate the talk about deep fried stuff in the chat with, something Phil related.
giant plant.
You think? Oh boy. Well, good night, little man. But remember that when you talk about deep fried food, you cannot forget DSP's new catchphrase. Or this edited version thereof. Let us continue with our quest to use Moonspeak to...
Out.
No, we're not.
But what the hell is that? What the thing?
I don't know what the hell that thing is, but I think it should have been pretty obvious that you're not out
I'm
yet.
not ready to be pushing up daisies
Not
just
out yet,
yet.
that is. And now time for the worst boss in this game, almost. Second only to the final boss. Since, you know, this, like the tower in Typing of the Dead 1, this actually requires you to answer a question. And since I can't read Japanese, I can't do that and expect to be correct. But that hasn't happened yet. Yep, this part. I have no idea which of these is correct, but I just guessed the number one, and of course I'm wrong. But at least the rest of this is pretty simple. It's a matter of having a fast reaction time. And when he sticks his head out like that, you just have to do this without making a mistake, so it's kind of like the magician in Typing of the Dead 1. And just like that, he dies.
I never was any good at gardening.
You don't say.
It looks like it'll open if we shoot it.
But since that was actually kind of short for a stage, it's not over yet. That was only the midway point. Also, those tiny golden statues are supposed to be statues of the magician. Apparently he's House of the Dead 2 incarnation, since he says, "I've been waiting for this time to come," which is what he said just before you fought him in House of the Dead 2, and Typing of the Dead 1, for that matter.
These things are getting on my nerves. I almost joined the zombie army there.
And there's the end of the stage. Oh god. Well. Also, I just turned on the fan since it's getting kind of cramped where I am.
Worried about Rogan?
It's kind of puzzling to me who I have to turn on the fan so I can sleep comfortably to hear about people who
Believe in yourself, Lisa.
have sub-zero temperatures up
He
north.
always says the same thing over and over. I'm sick of it.
Found it puzzling and enviable. Also, it's time to load stuff again, I just realized. Apparently the video is only about half done, by the way, even though there's like, there's only 5 stages in this and we've already beaten 3. So this will go great, clearly.
I found it, Daniel. These genes will change the future. The magician and the wheel of fate.
So yeah, apparently that's where Liam Neeson lost it. In case you were curious.
Lisa, wait!
Unauthorized personnel detected.
This isn't
Security
good.
systems activated. Priority
Lisa,
level 3 areas
this way.
will be locked down. All personnel.
Also time to fight this guy again, since he's mighty persistent.
Not even Rogan was this persistent.
And he's gonna be chasing us throughout this entire level, by the way. It ends when we kill him. Also, like I mentioned, even if you get to the final boss, the game doesn't let you restart from the final level, it only lets you restart from this level. So I cannot tell you how many times I fought this guy, pretty sure I never lost to him though. So at least there is that. Well, you know, the Sims 2 did have that baby grill mod that someone made. Maybe that's the inspiration. And these guys are a couple of bitches, since it's pretty much impossible to not get hit by them. Or at least unless you use an item, which I completely forgot to do there. But yeah, since by this point the word length isn't exactly negligible, this part was always a pain for me to have to do over and over again. But at least I never will have to again now that I've actually beaten the game and recorded it to boot. And at this point you get the long-haired handyman zombies and the somehow gliding like security guard zombies. And the birds as well. They're actually pretty recurring enemies in this series.
Looks like we got away.
I'm not sure if it's a bit too early to say that, alright. You know, if you see someone walking around in an upper level that's in plain sight of where you are, maybe you haven't gotten away yet.
Lisa, back me up.
Well, you know, I did mention that it took me like 10 tries to beat the game over the course of several days. Actually was became more aggravating for me since I remember on Wednesday this week. On Wednesday I had class in like 5 PM and I came back home at like 9 PM And I decided why not, I'll have an attempt of this game, and of course I couldn't beat it, so I became even more aggravated since I was like, tired and lacking sleep and pretty cranky, so that was an experience to remember. But yeah, that's something else that happens to me, that if I don't get enough sleep, I am pretty much in permanent I will murder you if you so much as speak to me mode. Since I'm already pretty much a schizoid in everyday life without sleep deprivation, that just aggravates that. But I'm taking away from Moonrune zombie killing here. Also, I have no idea how I managed to get so many apparently long Romaji words without making mistakes a lot of the time. But yeah, actually the lag helped sometimes. The first time I ran this, I installed it incorrectly, so it was pretty much impossible for it not to lag whenever the words came up. And that actually kind of helped sometimes, since, lag gives you more time to do things. But, that also had a problem in that once the lag was over, like, the game sped up for a couple of seconds to make up for it, and a lot of the time that resulted in getting hurt. So I had to reinstall it and make it run a bit better, which, is what you're seeing right now.
Let's go up.
And so actually getting anywhere is pretty much based on merit. Also, I think the stage is almost over, I don't know. No, there's a little bit more of a section where you have to fight this guy after this one. But gotta get through more regular zombies first. Yeah, I kinda saw that one coming since when Mike was getting into the PSP emulator. Pretty sure that was a recommendation, but he couldn't actually get it to run. Or something like that. I don't remember the details. I remember there's a bunch of games that he couldn't get to run, but I don't remember if that was one of them. Also, I clicked the wrong thing, and apparently the recording will be split into 2 parts because of that. That stinks. Oh well. Actually make that 3 parts, since we're probably going to go over to live stream later on. But not a big deal. I only lost like a couple of seconds and actually realized what was happening.
You just don't give up, do ya?
Oh boy, welcome Zero to Moonrune Gun Zombie Extermination game. Which I'm not playing, by the way. It's just a recording that I made of me playing it earlier, in case you were wondering. I don't think anyone was making a fighting game. I know a lot of people were making like just unspecified games and mostly RPGs, but
Just back off already.
oh, but this guy's about to die. It's time for the final phase of this fight. Well, I think I'm already recording myself recording myself. Or at least a couple of layers of that.
says no, she means it.
I don't know if I could go much deeper than that. Actually, that's a lie. I'm only making one recording right now. I'm talking over a recording that I made.
That was close.
And I'm
sorry. I should have reacted faster back
But
there.
this recording has already been made, and there's another one being made right now. The Tanya keyboard guns.
I know. How come I'm so stubborn in front of my dad?
Well, it's somehow less silly than the setup they had in the first of these, which was just an actual keyboard with a Sega Dreamcast strapped to their back. Like they do here, if I recall. Oh, loading time, so time to speed things up again. And the final chapter will be after this, though apparently it will take like 10 to 15 minutes from what I see. And like I said, I won't even get to finish the game, because this is one of the attempts where I got through the whole game. But I died to the final boss like I did so many times. Here we go.
Things look a little different here. We're close.
I'm not gonna stop until I find my dad.
God. Yeah, I recall seeing that somewhere, but I don't remember what that song is. Actually, hang on, let me pause this real quick so I can actually know. From Cribly, so I can see what this song is. Oh, it's... Well, that's probably really loud compared to the recording, but yeah, I think that's King Didity's theme from the first Kirby game, yeah, and in general, I think. I don't know what the relation between me and that song is, but alright. Also, this fucking never-ending barrage of long moon-rune phrases, always pretty aggravating. And then they toss 3 of them at you at once. Something that I found kind of weird too is that pretty sure during this playthrough I had like 7 lives and 3 continues, but I was still murdered by the final boss, or at least the enemies leading up to him, since pretty much all of the enemies in this area are like that. The long as words. Melty Blood, yeah, probably wouldn't recognize it then myself, but I'm pretty sure they posted a bunch of themes to that channel. Even though I'm pretty sure I only heard all of them once. Also, I'm pretty sure after this guy's dead, we're going to get some plot here.
Dad! I knew you were alive!
Lisa, I figured G would bring you here.
And this guy's here as well.
Wait, G!
Pleased to meet you, Mr. G. My name is Daniel Carrion. Dr. Carrion was my father. I believe in you and well.
It may be hard to believe, but he's the one who saved my life. He's the only one who
can prevent disaster. I have to go.
You can't. You're hurt. I'll go. Gee, take care of Dad for me.
All right. I leave everything in your hands. Remember, Lisa, believe in yourself, no matter what happens.
Believe in yourself. Lisa, I think you finally understand what that really means now.
Chill.
The accursed wheel of fate. Just wait.
So apparently we have to team up with Liam Neeson's son now, so we can end this. Also, from what I remember, all the different endings you can get in this are tied to him. It's okay. Yono Pyramido. Well, I could tell what approximately 30% of that phrase meant.
What is it that they're trying to protect?
Also, I'm pretty sure it's impossible not to get hit by that guy. He pretty much always instantly strikes whenever you get to that part. Oh god. Now for all the marsh zombies. But yeah, House of the Dead... Oh, I lost one of my continues there. House of the Dead series is pretty weird. I mean, they're based on the premise that... just general zombie stuff at first, but then they have all these bizarro monsters that are based on major arcana cards. And then for the prequel they made, they just made it based on a bunch of Grindhouse films. But we'll be looking at that tomorrow night. Since that also has a Typing of the Dead version. And then it has all this weird plot about the end of the world and well, I don't know if you would associate zombie with what's coming up in the next room here.
What the?
This is the last thing my father left behind. I've spent the last 19 years watching this evil grow. I know it's dangerous. I've always known that. But the wheel of fate must be broken.
But how?
I managed to hack the program. That should give us the opening that we need.
I just wanted to ask, are you sure you want to fight your own father?
The future belongs to the people who are alive here and now. I'm prepared to live the rest of my life bearing the burden of my father's crime.
No, it's not the Emperor, but funny you should mention that, since this guy's theme is pretty much a remix of the Emperor's theme.
I am Curian. I shall destroy everything and resurrect everything.
But no, this is the Wheel of Fate, which is somehow resurrected Curian. You know, your guess is as good as mine as to how that works, but this guy's a bitch to fight because you have to type all of this stuff really fast, as you can see. So you pretty much have to get lucky if you're not used to typing like this, like I wasn't. And pretty much every mistake you make in this fight works against you. Well, at least it has some parts that aren't that bad, like, you know, ironically enough, when he, like, does that thing that he just makes up a big phrase and then comes at you slowly is not as bad as when he just throws a bunch of smaller stuff at you that you have to type shorter phrases for, because that actually adds up to being a lot worse. Also, you might remember what I mentioned about this particular attempt. But don't worry, we'll be seeing what happens by the end of this video, I'm sure. Also, I'm pretty sure that when he throws all of those little things at you, if you don't get like 3 volleys of that in a row, pretty much, you do nothing to him and it just resets. So it's pretty much a waste of life. And for this part where he's actually spinning the wheel and you get to pick which direction it goes. I have no idea what each direction does, but just kind of try to guess to get it so that he does this instead of the volley thing. But there doesn't seem to be any real pattern to it that I managed to discern. Yeah, pretty much 1 more second and that would have been a hit. Is the 3rd volley going to do it? Probably not. It's pretty reasonable to be fatalistic when you're in this fight. But when you get him down to this much health, he changes his paradigm. Now you pretty much have to defend yourself against these things for a while. Which are slightly worse than the other ones, since I'm pretty sure the words are longer. And that's the 2nd continue gun. I think that I still had 1 more after this, but... But yeah, this is not easy. And that's the 3rd continue gun. Which means that 3 hits after this and death will come. But at least managed to get a hit in after all that. I'm fairly certain he's going to do that at least 1 more time though. Yep, there he goes. Managed to get another hit in though. Just got lucky on that. But wasn't so lucky there, I don't think. Or was I? Actually, I didn't get hit, so I think I might have been. And then this part, you have to type this really long phrase very quickly, or if you don't do that, he just does this, and you pretty much have to get rid of all of these things if you want another chance at doing that. Well, these aren't that bad, but it's still annoying. Seems you have to do this so quickly. Which means you really can't afford to make mistakes. You have to do that like 3 or 4 times and then he's dead, but you know, you have to actually do that without dying, which is the tricky part. Like right now, it's just 3 more hits I believe and he should be dead, but like even if you hit him he does this. He doesn't go a turn without doing this. Can't remember if I got this or if it was... no, I didn't get that. So we got to survive another barrage of these things, yet again. She got only 1 hit point left. But managed to get that one? No, didn't manage to get that worth, never mind. So by this point I only have 1 hit point, so it's pretty much 1 more hit. And it's game over. Can't manage to get any hits into that guy. He's doing a pretty good job of surviving though. Somehow. And then that happened. So at this point we pretty much have the boss down to 1 hit point as well, so whoever strikes first wins the fight pretty much. But then this happens, of course. Which is the story of my life while playing this game. And this is where you get to showcase that you cannot restart from chapter 5, so you have to restart from chapter 4, which stinks, but fortunately for us, I did make another recording, and this time I actually did manage to kill him, so nope, too far ahead. So let's skip ahead to that part, there we go. I think by this point there's once again just another 2 hits that you need to inflict on the boss. And by this point there's only 1 more hit that's needed. I'm fairly certain I still had at least 1 more continue, even though I only have 2 lives left. So this time, did manage to empty his life after all, and we get a similar thing to the end of the first game, where I guess you have to answer questions with stuff, but I have no idea what the answers are, because, you know, you can take a guess. But I'm guessing this also determines what ending you get, and indeed we will see.
The world is overpopulated. Even you must realize that. Daniel, you
This is our future. We'll handle it ourselves. You've got bigger problems to worry about.
You're not my father!
I'm no longer bound by the past. I begin walking toward the future.
Hey, let's go! They're waiting for us.
And there you go. Still need to get to the ending though. But of course need to go through the data screens at first. Oh boys, it's gonna be one of the things where the ending takes forever to load like the rest of the cutscenes do. Nope, not this time.
Thanks for taking care of Lisa.
Actually, she did a good job taking care of herself. But Rogan, do you think this will change anything?
It's their future. Maybe nothing will change. Maybe everything will be different. We've done our part. The rest is up to them, to believe in themselves and walk their own paths.
Believe in themselves, huh? Lisa's starting to sound a lot like you.
Oh, wait a minute. Is that your idea of a joke? I guess things are already starting to change.
And now for the ending we got.
What's wrong?
I've done what I had to do. Tell me, how am I supposed to live the rest of my life?
What are you talking about? You've got your whole life ahead of you.
What life do I have?
So that happened. End. I'm guessing you can get different endings through typing in different answers in the end thing, but I have no idea what would do what. And my complete inability to read Japanese doesn't exactly help also. The credits gag, yeah, that's going to come back. But I'm going to go ahead and keep that in 2x speed since stuff. Of course, if it would actually appear, that would also be pretty great. And this time you don't actually see the dancing zombies until after all this is over. Actually, you can kind of see something fall down from above if you type all of the things during each section. It's a bit more difficult to see now, I think, since it's sped up. But you will see what that is by the end of this. But yeah, maybe I don't know if it would be a good idea to recommend maybe some Moon Rune typing game if you're not actually proficient at typing Moon Runes. I certainly wasn't. I don't know how I got through that whole thing, but eventually it worked. You know, like I said, it took me like 10 tries to beat the final guy. But at least I can hardly recommend the first Typing of the Dead game. If you're interested in that, it's actually not as difficult to find. I don't think any of these, or either of these games are being sold like being distributed in a kosher way, so I'd say pretty much get your hands on them however you can, if you're interested in them. But the other game in the Typing of the Dead franchise, I guess, is available on Steam if you have that. But we will not be looking at that just yet. It will be for tomorrow, since I've already been playing games for just over 2 hours. So you know what will happen once this video ends, presumably. So is that going to be it, or is there something else? I guess this will be the last guy, I don't know. Yep, gonna bring this back to normal speed, because now we gotta look at this, the consequence of actually shooting the credits thoroughly. All the Guile zombies, and of course Caesar as well. Those bizarre arms of her. And her weird looking hands until you realize that she's actually wearing gloves, which look almost exactly the same hue as her skin, but yeah, that was that. Pretty much just kicks you back to the menu after this, if I recall. Yep. So that was Typing of the Dead 2, the ludicrously rare and absurdly difficult if you don't know Japanese version. Which came after Typing of the Dead 1, which was not as rare or difficult, but you know. So now that I'm done with that, I don't know, should I make the transfer already? I'm gonna say why not. I'm going to go ahead and stop the stream for a moment, because I'm pretty much done with games for the night, I think. So let me get the link for my live stream thing, because that is where the rest of the stream will be happening. And after I end my quick break, I'll probably be over there, because there will be a quick break happening pretty much right now, before I move on to the next thing. So see you when that happens.